The infamous GoPro audio popping. What do I mean? Oh, I mean this. Let's check it out. What's going on, YouTube? FXCLS Brooklyn is back in the building. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the notorious #1 motovlogging issue, which comes down to audio, being when the audio starts to pop on the modern GoPro cameras. So again, I gave you a little snippet of what that is like in my experience for motovlogging, but let me throw up a more lengthy clip or some more examples just so you could kind of get an idea of what it is I am talking about. So for me, I notice that it happens most if I'm doing really high speeds or if I'm just taking in a lot of wind. So that clip I put up, that's from Ocean Parkway, which is a parkway with a tremendous amount of wind that rides along the Atlantic Ocean out here in New York. And that's one place where I feel like I definitely get it the most, especially when I'm hitting 70 miles per hour or more on my bike. So I noticed that it happens the most, again, at high speeds or with a lot of wind. So in that clip that I posted, for the first part of it, I was actually curious to see if it was getting worse if my visor was up. So for a good part of that clip, I actually had my visor up just so you could get an idea of what's happening. And I was curious for myself if having the visor up, getting all that wind flow in the helmet was gonna cause it to happen more. And honestly, going back and reviewing that clip, it actually seems like I was getting way more of the popping with my visor up, with all that wind flowing through the helmet at a high speed. So there's been a lot of videos made about this topic already. You know, I feel like this is not just exclusive to motovloggers, these are action cameras. So people are using these cameras for all sorts of high octane activities where you're intaking a lot of wind or you're doing high speeds. So I can't imagine that motovloggers are the only people who are dealing with this issue. There is a lot of videos on it. All the videos that I've seen, the most common troubleshooting solution that people are offering is going into the settings of the GoPro camera and turning the wind reduction mode to off. And apparently the theory is it's because the GoPro is having to navigate between muffling the wind or not muffling the wind, giving the camera another task, and that's the thing that is causing the popping, is like switching between those modes. So I tried that, you know, and I tried it in a lot of different circumstances, a lot of different speeds. I tried it with the medium mount, and I also tried it with the audio adapter, and even still, when I'm hitting those high speeds, when I'm getting a lot of wind, I'm still getting that popping. Let's see if I can get you an example now. Okay, so now that's with the visor closed, and again, I'm not going to be surprised when I go back and I rewatch this clip to go back and see that, yeah, I'm getting a whole bunch of popping in that scenario, because that's generally what has been happening. It's not really that surprising at this point. Off topic, it is a beautiful day here in New York City. Just wanted to let you all know that. But yeah, that's what's happening. And again, you know, I'll read through the comments of a lot of those videos, and I'm seeing a lot of people comment on those videos and saying, oh, that solved my problem, that solved my problem. But that is not the case for me. You know, I've been motovlogging now for over 5 years, and it's crazy that even 5 years later, I still cannot find the solution to this issue. And for me, whenever it does happen, because you all know I ride pretty fast a good amount of the time, so when it does happen, I just cut it out, you know? But I'm never surprised when it happens at this point. It's kind of like normal. It's just something that the camera does. But honestly, as I'm running right now, the 10th iteration of the GoPro, yes, the GoPro Hero 10 Black, I kind of got this camera just hoping that, alright, it's the most modern version. Maybe, finally, they fix this issue. But of course, on this camera too, it's the same old thing. You're gonna get the popping at the higher speeds. Same old story, you know, I wasn't even surprised. And honestly, I'm not making this video to complain or like flame GoPro or anything like that. But I honestly think it's like pretty unacceptable for the 10th iteration of this camera. Especially since the earlier iterations of this camera, back when I was motovlogging in say 2016, 2017, when I was running the Hero 4 Plus, you know, a earlier caveman edition of this camera, those cameras never had that issue. It's only when they started making, I believe, the 5 and the 6 that the audio crackling started, you know, noticeably becoming an issue. So, you all know, those of you who follow me, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who have no interest in riding motorcycles that are just watching this just for the sake of GoPro troubleshooting. But I like to approach all my problems with the PMA positive mental attitude, so I'm more looking at this as a fun riddle that's been a lot of fun trying to crack over the past 5 years that I still have not figured out. One of the hypotheses or conjectures that I have about why this could be happening is that maybe it's the wind hitting the connections of the cords, and it's kind of like, I guess, jostling them around in the jacks. And perhaps while that's happening, that is the thing that is causing the interference. That is one theory that I have. The other theory that I have, and this is just coming down to whenever I open the visor and I'm intaking more wind, I notice that it's happening more, is maybe just that amount of wind hitting the microphone is causing that type of interference. Like, it just can't take that high load of audio, and that's the microphone's, response. But the thing that I just can't figure out for the life of me is, if those two things were the issue, then why wasn't this happening in 2017 with those older cameras? That's what I want to know, because it was the same situation with those old cameras. You had a microphone connected to a audio cable that was flapping around in the wind, and there was even times back in 2017 where I'd be getting after it, man, like riding hard on really, really windy turnpikes and whatnot out in South Dakota and Wyoming, and I wasn't getting that type of interference for that type of riding. So it just kind of boggles my mind that the technology is supposedly taking 6 iterations forward from then, but still has the same problem, and at the end of the day is having worse audio than what they had in their earlier stages of development. And again, I'm not trying to flame GoPro on this, but realistically, that is a frustration. So yeah, the only solution that has been posed in some of those videos that I have not tried yet is coating the audio jacks wherever they're connected in some sort of form-fitting putty to help lock in the connection, to have it not be jostled around by the wind. That's one thing that has been recommended in some of the videos I've seen that I have not tried. So I don't know, maybe that works, but I know there's a good amount of you that also motovlog, whether you post it on YouTube or not. And I'm curious to see from you all, like, what is your experience with this? Have you had this issue that I'm talking about? Most importantly, if you have had this issue and you've had some sort of breakthrough or solution, I'm really hoping that, you know, folks who are having this issue, whether they motovlog or not, can watch this video and then go into the comment section or go into the details and hopefully find some sort of troubleshooting guide or some sort of solution to this, because right now, the way it stands with the GoPro Hero 10, if you are running an external mic, it ain't cool, man. And it's certainly not worth what they're asking for these cameras new, if, you know, you can't truly run it like an action camera. Besides that, though, the camera's great. You know, the camera is excellent besides that issue, but I think a good video starts with good audio, so that's a pretty big issue that they still haven't seemed to address. There has not been any, like, firm solution. If you do call GoPro, number one, they're going to tell you, hey, give me $5 a month, become a GoPro Plus member. They're going to tell you to do that first. And then after you do that, then they're just going to tell you, oh yeah, you know, you got to do a manual update to the firmware. You'll do that, and then you're still going to have the same issue. You could tell I've been in a infinite feedback loop on this issue for a while now. But again, I do come at this with PMA. I'm sure there is a resolution out there. There's a lot of really good motovloggers out there that, you know, I watch their content and I notice they don't seem to have the same issue. So there's got to be a solution out there. There's got to be a right way to be doing this damn thing. Like I said, I mean, I have my own solution, which is I'll just edit it out later on, but there's times where that actually ruins footage, because there's times where I want to ride fast and I want to, you know, take you along for the ride where I am ripping pretty hard, and then I just can't post a lot of it because the audio is destroyed, man. So you all let me know in the comment section if you have a solution to that particular issue. I would love to know what it is. I've had so many conversations with other motovloggers, such as the Chronicles of Flinch motovlog, about the same thing, and each time we're all just left scratching our heads, man. What is the solution to the modern GoPro audio? As always, stay safe out there. Stay low out there. Outride your demons, pay the iron price, listen to the bad brains, and on that, FXDLS Brooklyn is out.